Hi, everyone. I want to welcome you to another great Refersion virtual event here in New York City. I have friends joining us from all over the country. We have friends from Four Sigmatic, Subta, as well as Smarter Chaos. Today's topic is going to be focused on the subscription model and the future of retail, and have some great panelists joining us. So I'm going to hand it over to you guys if you guys want to do some introductions. We'll start with you, Jason.
Hi, I'm Jason Sayers from Smarter Chaos, Director of Business Development. We also have
Jessica from Smarter Chaos. I'm Director of Client Services, so I am here to keep our customers happy.
Awesome. Pass it over to you, Chris.
Yeah, hey everybody. Thanks for having me on, Richard. Chris George, Chairman and Co-founder of Subta, as well as the co-founder of the Gentleman's Box. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Love the Gentleman's Box. And of course, last but not least, Caitlin.
Hey, I'm Caitlin Holiday from Four Sigmatic. I'm really happy to be here, Richard. And if you haven't heard of Four Sigmatic, we are a functional mushroom and adaptogen company that tries to make everyday staples easy to upgrade with superfoods. So think mushroom coffee, that's us.
Awesome. I love your guys' coffee. Can't wait to visit your store just up the road once everything opens up. Awesome. So just a couple of housekeeping items, everyone. Don't forget, you can subscribe or hit that notification bell in the lower right-hand corner if you want to get notifications of future webinars. As well as if you have any questions, feel free to put those questions right here in the chat box, and we'll definitely go ahead and answer those at the end of our session. And lastly, we ask that you respect everyone that is both presenting and your fellow watchers because this is a place of learning. So we ask that you respect everyone's opinions. Awesome. So for today's session, we're going to be doing a panel setup. So I'll kick it off here with a couple of questions. So the first one is going to be around how the world is starting to reopen. And for my panelists here joining us today, how are you seeing the retail already starting to evolve? And what do you think that means for merchants from a data perspective? Who'd love to start that one?
Yeah.
Open question.
So, question. Look, I think that starting to see retail brands adapt to this sort of delivery model. I think that's a big part of it, right? And while there was a lot of brands that were doing delivery, more of them thinking about it, they should have been thinking about it, and more than ever now they need to have implemented it. I also think a big part of it is this e-commerce, right? And having an e-commerce footprint. 15 years ago, you spent a lot of money into making your storefront look really good, and the website was secondary. Now the website's the new storefront, and so brands, if they're not on e-commerce, should be pivoting to that. And as you know, I'll say they should be thinking about the subscription model at the same time. So I think you're just seeing a bigger shift to and e-commerce sales overall for the whole retail economy. You're just going to see that percentage jump from 15, 17, 19, 20% fairly quickly.
Yeah, we found that to be very true across all of the data that we have access to. And e-commerce has definitely seen a huge jump there. And I've seen a lot of brands invest a lot of love into that digital experience. And I'm sure that's extended out to your brands that you work with, as well as you, Caitlin. Have you guys evolved any way of your digital experience after this pandemic has started and now we're starting to exit it?
Yeah, so for us, one thing to keep in mind is that there might be a lot of kind of new customers, new eyeballs on our site. And so how can we evolve our communication and our content to meet those changing demands? So being really in touch from a communication perspective with our audience is really important to us. We just happen to have a full website refresh scheduled for April, so that we were able to kind of pivot some of the messaging for the times, but happy to have launched during this time, although everyone knows with the new website things go wrong, but I think we were able to accomplish that, which is great. But yeah, I'd be interested what Jason and his brands are doing.
Yeah, well, several of our clients have really had to shift. We had some come to us brand new that were just starting up a new subscription model for these times in particular. And then the people that already had their e-commerce sites ready to go just had to shift their marketing focus. We have seen huge success in this space, especially with subscription. People aren't going out and shopping the way they used to. And I don't, even though things are reopening, we really aren't seeing that it's going to take this dynamic quick shift back to the way things were. I think it's really changed the way that people are going to shop in general. So getting prepared, really talking to the clients, making sure that we are meeting their needs. I think some of the things that our clients have focused on is really having clear messaging for subscription pricing, which is important during these times. Engaging with them in a way, like you said earlier, in a really authentic way, showing how we can kind of meet their needs and meet them during this time and help them during this time. I also think part of it is creating special ways to interact with our clients to keep them engaged, feeding them new content, and then also creating, rewards programs. So giving back to our customers that are dedicated to ordering from our companies online, rewarding them, and then also rewarding them with special discounts during this time as we're all kind of coming together.
Yeah, I would also add that as a brand, it is, and we are kind of a digitally native brand, but we do have omni-channel approach at this point. How can we teach our offline partners, our resellers, our brick and mortars, how to bring things online and how to foster their communities and make us an integral partner in that journey. So as, grocery stores, yoga studios, acupuncture practitioners are kind of thinking how they can access their local communities online. How can we partner with those people to either facilitate or offer sampling programs? Because especially for us, in CPG, an important part of our marketing has been in-store events and in-store demos, and we know that might not come back for a while. So how can we both be a good partner to our brick and mortars, but also, get our product in the hands of some new customers?
Yeah, and one thing to kind of go off what you were saying is we've noticed too, when you can customize your subscriptions during this time, they are going to stay with you a lot longer because they're able to try different things. Like you were saying, you're having the samplings, being able to try product, not just being jammed into, one area where this is kind of what you're getting. So I think being able to customize or have a sampling is extremely important.
Yeah. Add-ons are really a key right now too.
I was just going to jump back to thinking about the retail side of it, Richard. Mm-hmm. So I think one thing for the retail to be thinking about is the experience that has changed now, right? So when you're thinking about going into the retail shop, the landscape of that has changed dramatically. Whether it's wearing a mask, where it's staying 6 feet apart, and brands need to adjust for that. One thing with subscriptions or thinking about taking your brand to the e-commerce side or including delivery, it's how do we enhance that customer experience so they stick with our brand? I'll give you an example. If a retail shop, and I know people now not coming in as much, I'm promoting them to make purchases online for my brand. They make a purchase, I do a special delivery. Well, I'm going to maybe include a special handwritten note. Thank you so much for the support. I'm so sad that I couldn't see you in person, but thank you for your order. We hope to see you again. These sort of little things are the things that brands need to be thinking about, and those in the retail space need to be thinking about. Look, the e-commerce landscape the e-commerce side of things are great for everybody that's in e-commerce, right? That, if anything, COVID's increased that. And from my standpoint, I'm not worried about those people. I'm worried about the retail brands that need to be thinking about how to pivot to the subscription model, how to increase that sort of customer experience. And for you, Caitlin, with the events, maybe it's less of a huge event with 20 people, mm-hmm. but it's 10 small events with 3 people, and they're getting more of a one-on-one experience. and the sort of messaging is like, hey, like, you're going to be able to get all your questions answered about coffee, or we're going to be able, you know, I don't know your full business model. I'm sort of throwing ideas out there, but I think instead of there being one large event once a month, it's like there's small events throughout the whole week, and there's a sort of one-on-one sort of marketing and messaging and communication.
Yeah, it's like this idea of almost like a bespoke experience, which millennials we love apparently.
Yeah.
These exclusive bespoke experiences. So I'm hearing a lot of like, you know, give a lot more love to your customers through small things that you can do, whether that's the unboxing experience, make it personalized, to making something that was once normal and is no longer allowed because of health reasons, and then making it even go further in terms of loyalty. So on the idea of pivot, Jason, and from your guys' side, what have you seen with your customers in terms of pivoting? Are they shifting over to subscription, or are they moving another way?
Actually, a lot of them are going towards subscription. Particular Pepsi brand, Health Warrior. They are basically just a little mom and pop e-com site, and now they came to Smarter Chaos to build their subscription, and we're assisting them how to build their landing pages and how the user flow is working with with the subscription, and just putting 1 month, 2 month, 3 months, 6 month on a website, that's not the best way to do it. You gotta entice them with like specials and things like that. But Health Warrior is doing very well with the subscription now since they came over to us, and we're really building that brand side. And what Pepsi's doing, they're kind of testing our ability to do that, right, as a subscription team, and they're going to bring on Pantry.com. Pantry.com is a product that Pepsi has that they're going to sell direct to consumer right now. So you can add all the Pepsi products to a one box, and you can get your Gatorades, you can get your Frito-Lay products in one box, and it's like it's going to become very successful with these larger brands.
Cool. And it sounds like they're taking a pay for the D2C
Jason,
book. Oh, go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I didn't mean to interrupt. The interesting about that thing, though, Jason, is right. Amazon's ahead of them on that. Like, already exists. The monthly pantry already exists, and people are already using that. It'd be interesting to see how Pepsi's planning to introduce that, because they're not going to not sell their products on Amazon. I mean, look, that's the big gorilla in the room that everybody has to compete against, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Pepsi would be coming out with exclusive items that would come out for that, come out in that pantry. But that's just interesting. It'd be interesting to see how that rolls out.
Yeah, that comes back to where you can actually make that benefit for the client shopping on your e-commerce site. You might be able to offer more aggressive pricing or discounts, have rewards programs, and they can auto ship, everything that they would normally straight to their doorstep. But I think it is definitely, you have to look at Amazon and what they're able to do and become competitive against it, even with your own products.
Yeah, and they are offering a 2-day free shipping. So, and then lately with Amazon, you don't get it for 4 days.
It's not gonna, like, to me, that's not gonna work. Look, you're not gonna beat Amazon on pricing and shipping, right? Like, first of all, they're already 2 days. They're already investing. One of their flywheels is shipping. So they're gonna be 1 day, and they're gonna be 1 hour before everybody, right? Yeah. So it's got to come to the customer experience. And so they, like, for example, Caitlin, they couldn't call a customer service rep at Amazon and say, what kind of coffee should I get, or what are the benefits? But they could call your brand and you could tell them, right? And that's what's going to, like, separate, and that's how you're going to compete with Amazon. You're not going to beat them in anything but, like, customer experience.
Yeah. We think about that all the time, Chris. You make a good point. As a smaller brand, this might not apply to Pepsi necessarily, but definitely could, is what do we offer that Amazon can't? And some of the things that we think about, of course, customer experience, that includes the portal, that includes the flexibility to swap, to cancel, all of those kind of table stakes things at this point. But also for us, it's new product introductions. The people who are on our site are going to be the more engaged. For us, we're in wellness, so like maybe the trendsetter type of wellness audience. And we offer our subscription customers, who we call members, our new products in advance. So they have a week to check out the product, enjoy, and order. But also for us, and I think this is especially important now, is how can you offer community opportunities, community moments, and also educational moments. So for us, community, we have our community on Instagram, but we also have a private community with just our subscribers. And these are the people who swap recipes. They talk about functional mushrooms and all of the potions that they're creating. And it's so incredible. And they can find like-minded people that makes our brand the connector, but we're not we're just the facilitator. We bring people together. It's the community that really leads the conversation. And then on the education side, again, this is something that we can offer that's extremely unique. We have invested in, and for a 40-person company, this is a big deal. We have one person who's our national educator, and she is an herbalist, and she has a master's degree, and she's incredibly knowledgeable, and she can offer, this, whether it's a Q&A and, an open house. We have deep dives into different adaptogens and all these like nerding out topics where we're the facilitator, but of course we're, making sure that we're connected to our community and giving them information on the lifestyle that they want. And those are some of the things that, we have thought of so far. With Amazon, you always have to be on your toes and continuing to push your product and your program, to the next level. And I think you make a great point with rewards. That's something that brands can do very easily, but it's about thinking about what you can offer that's unique, because again, like Chris said, you're never going to offer the best price. And even if you could, you'll be out of business tomorrow, so it's an interesting challenge.
I love the idea of community, right? It's one of the three main pillars of D2C: content, commerce, and community. And I think that's really powerful, that something, especially someone like Amazon, doesn't really have, other than I love Amazon Prime. I'm actually a huge anti-Amazon buyer. I don't buy much of Amazon stuff, so you can see me at the stores actually buying products. I get crap for it all the time, but that's just me. I just know that I can get a better quality product than just having it at my door in 2 days. So, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to fill in, because we do represent several subscription brands, like you were saying, having those communities. I would say some of ours most successful brands are the ones that have really focused on building those community pieces. They do them exclusively for their subscribers, and they have benefited extremely from having those.
That's awesome. Yeah, this idea of community again I think is very, very powerful. And we talked about content just before the call, right? We were just talking about how we're all producing content and now shifting from, Caitlin, you were doing in-store content and bespoke events to now doing a lot more online content, which I find is very, very valuable, and including SEPTA with Chris. So it sounds like a lot of brands, are saving a lot of money not being in physical retail stores. And it sounds like Pepsi is starting to shift over from the in-store experience to digital and then delivering to home. And then Caitlin, your teams at Four Sigmatic have also had to do the same thing as well. Have you seen that CAC has decreased because of those cost savings? And what are you doing with those funds, or what was once invested in store? Where are you shifting those dollars towards, if you're shifting them anywhere?
Yeah, the journey of CAC has been up and down. So, in March and April, we saw a significant decrease, and we were able to get in front of a ton more customer, eyeballs than we ever would at that same price. And this was, I think, a lot of advertisers were withdrawing, they were reevaluating, they were thinking, what now? And we were able to, stay online and continue to invest digital marketing dollars in those avenues. Like you said, we have both staff and marketing dollars allocated towards in-store demos or our two owned retail locations called the Shroom Rooms, one of which is around the corner from Richard. So how can we repurpose? So we of course have gone to all of our key relationships, and for example, Air One Markets, which is an LA chain of high-end, well, it's like Whole Foods on steroids, I say. And they're doing in-home delivery. So can we support them with free samples for their community? That kind of increases their value in the eyes of the community, but also elevates our brand. So we've been doing individual types of campaigns like that, but a lot of our retail brick and mortar partners have really kind of shut down in order to reevaluate and are only now kind of reopening and making plans. So for us, that meant reinvesting dollars in digital marketing. So that was both on Amazon and directing people to our .com site. But it's about being dynamic as well, because things may change again. So
yeah, they could change in the next week, actually, based on what I'm hearing on the news. Cool. So we talk about this idea of being very dynamic, right? And I feel like Four Sigmatic was actually took the opportunity when it presented itself, especially when marketers were pulling back on digital media spend across almost every channel. And I think it was specifically social saw the biggest decrease, I think close to like 45%, while I believe it was search was about 25% decrease. So very interesting there. However, consumer attention has shifted heavily online, right? So I think there was a 53% increase in streaming media services in terms of consumption by consumers during the pandemic, and social alone saw a 50% increase, followed by a couple other channels. So with that said, there's a lot more eyeballs on the screen and a lot more opportunities for brands to present themselves, whether that's through content through their own channels, or if it's through influencers, affiliates, etc. Have you guys utilized any other channels like influencer or affiliates across anyone here during this time to mitigate the loss of those other channels that some of your brands at Smarter Chaos may have been investing in at one point and then pulled back? For, of course, Caitlin and your team, it's a lot different. But I just wanted to throw that question out there.
So at our team here at Smarter Chaos, we actually saw a little bit of both at the beginning because everybody was really uncertain. So we had some of our clients really pull back altogether. They even reduced CPAs in their affiliate program, where we had some that really invested in their heavily in their affiliate program, even gave some increased CPAs. Mm-hmm. And we saw them actually take leaps and bounds over the others. They were really able to build a real well-rounded marketing circle just within their affiliate channel, and they still felt comfortable because the risk was a lot lower. They weren't putting out really big flat fee budgets, but they were able to increase those commission rates. So they were still going to get a sale, but they felt a lot better investing that way. So we were able to get more partners on and grow their program and really expand it where they were getting some influencers talking about their products online. They're also getting on loyalty sites and good content pieces that were being written up. So they were still casting a really wide net on the internet. So that they've been extremely successful during this time.
Awesome. And even more of a way to get to that segment of one, because you're now entering a niche audience that this affiliate influencer is now openly invited you into and is now creating content that's tailored to those audiences without you having to do additional work, right? Mm-hmm. So that's super powerful there. How about you, Caitlin?
Yeah, we were lucky enough to have for many years invested in our kind of partnerships and affiliates channel. So for us, that's anywhere from podcasters, so the big guys like Tim Ferriss or Joe Rogan, down to kind of smaller partners who are just getting started, and email partners, people who have an email list of varying sizes, and then of course your traditional sort of influencers who are talking on their platform, Facebook, Instagram. So when this kind of came about, we knew that just as important of communicating and staying in touch with our consumers, it was just as important to stay closely tied with our partners. So how are they seeing their audience change? How did they want to change the communication to their audiences, and what are their audiences looking for? And even there's of course the global pandemic, that whole thing, but also there's a changing social movement online, which again has changed the audiences of some of our bigger partners. So just being in communication in lockstep. Luckily for us, having had months or years of relationship building there has really allowed us to double down, and we've seen better results. As much as people aren't commuting, they still seem to be listening to podcasts in a very hungry way. So that's been good for us.
And how about you, Chris? Have you seen any of the brands in the SUPTA world utilize affiliate marketing in new ways, or more than others, or more than other times?
I mean, look, as no surprise, I'm not going to give you the conventional answer. I mean, I think most of these brands got this wrong, right? Like we just talked about in the beginning, that there was more users online than ever, and should have never been pulled back, right? Like I encouraged all the brands to double down on spend. Even if you think about whether it's affiliate marketing, whether it's digital media spend, as as you're doing that for many years, that starts to get saturated, right? So you're targeting men from 25 to 40 that live in California, New York, Midwest. That gets a little saturated. So then you pivot your campaigns. Well, all of a sudden, more of that demographic just came back into the social world. So you can go back and hit those markets again. Usership on Instagram and Facebook up. Inactive users was just like a 20% increase from inactive users to active users. So I would have increased my spend on the affiliate side. I would have increased my spend on the digital side and the paid side, because there's more people online. And for you guys like Jason and Smarter Chaos, like I might have, instead of pulled back, if I was a brand, I wouldn't have pulled back spend. I would have paid more to give them more incentive to keep promoting that brand for us. So that's just really my overall thoughts on that. On all of that.
We were seeing a lot of
double down, and we did that on.
Yeah, we were seeing a lot of partners, a lot of our brands got, pulling budgets from other areas and putting it into media buys. Working with companies like Meredith magazines, and kind of getting, because people are starting to read, they're at home, they're reading magazines surprisingly, and they were pulling budgets, and and it's been pretty successful for a lot of our clients.
Yeah.
Some are doing it, some are don't.
But we were definitely on the same page with you, Chris, encouraging everybody to spend, like, it's the time to double down and take that risk. And the people that did do that turned out to be extremely successful.
Yeah, they're in good shape right now.
To add on to that, I will say, if I was in the fashion space, I probably wouldn't have done that, right? So I should have, it's not in every industry, but the consumables, right? The outdoor goods, travel, I wouldn't have doubled down on travel because nobody was traveling, right? But, in general, for most of these consumable brands, most of these direct-to-consumer brands, you should have doubled down. And I know a lot of brands that did, and they did see a lot of success. I mean, we had
fashion, some of our fashion brands, they continued to spend. They just shifted the way they were talking to their customers and products that they were offering and their messaging, and they have come out on top as well.
And we know in some brands that we've managed in the past, they basically just shut down. They just gave up, and some of the fashion brands that we've managed, and I've called them and I'm like, don't shut down. People need. They still go out. You still have to buy it. You just can't go to the store and buy it. You can buy your clothing for a subscription online.
Yeah, I still dress up to go to the grocery store. That's my excitement of the day.
A lot of ours changed to loungewear.
It's a big casual change, not if you're in the tux or the high quality suits, it's probably not a good thing right now.
Yeah, definitely stick out like a sore thumb, even in the middle of New York City. I've seen a couple folks and I'm like, where are they headed to? Like, there's nowhere to go. Hair slicked back, looked like he just got back from Wall Street. Cool. So I know we're not fortune tellers here, but let's try to answer whatever we can here. But in terms of like, what are some retention strategies that you've already started to employ since this reopening has started? I know reopening is such a gray term, but with that said, have you guys seen any results so far from those? If you've seen any so far?
I'll hop in. For
I
us,
mean, I think. Go ahead.
okay, thanks, Chris.
No, please, Caitlin. Oh, I'm sorry.
For us, it was really about less about coming up with new retention strategies. Like if you're not in touch with best practices of retention, like you probably should be. So, get on board. And Chris can probably help you out with that and all the sub to community. But, it was about making sure that these new customers, these new eyeballs, and the communication around that can see, what we do have to offer. So it was more about shifting and about amplifying certain messages. And for us, I think because it's ever changing and you want to stay in touch with your community, you want to make sure that you have those empathetic, human first policies when you set up your subscription. So cancel anytime, money back guarantee. We say as flexible as your yoga teacher, like making sure that people can swap, can skip, all those things, because your customers also are in an uncertain time. So they might just want to skip this time or they might want to double down. We're lucky enough to be a replenishable product. And we also, through this whole time have really shifted our messaging to be in touch with what we thought our community was needing. So we of course led with, shelf stable kind of that communication. So we have our coffees, we have our proteins, for that. We also have a large line of immune supporting products. So immunity was really on people's minds. So how can we put those products out in the forefront, not coming up with new products and being opportunistic necessarily, but just here's our, product mix. How can we feature different things in order to meet a customer's needs? And we think that will help retain this new community. And of course, like I said before, community education, and really for us, also getting back to basics, making sure that we can deliver our product on time and it's in stock. Even that much over this period was a heroic feat for a lot of companies. Like, I have friends at Holy Crap, the toilet paper company, and they've been, been like globally sold out. So, luckily we haven't had that issue, but, some of these basics are really the thing that's going to bring people back and make these new customers remember your brand above others.
Kaylin really hit that nail on the head there. I mean, it goes back to the best defense is a good offense, right? And being proactive, and you're giving this amazing customer experience at the point of sale, post sale, from sale to delivery, post delivery, all of that is going to help retention. And so, yeah, everything you just said there was on point, Caitlin. I think anybody listening, those are things you should be thinking about, and that's going to all help with retention.
Yes.
And that's why we have Four Sigmatic here, the experts from the mushroom coffee business. And how about you, Jason? What is the team at Smarter Chaos in terms of the brands you're working with? What are some of the strategies that you guys have been consulting with your brands on?
Well, I think some of the basic strategies that we always have about retaining clients, I think right now people are scared. So maybe signing up, they are wanting to subscribe and get products to their house, but they might be worried about a long-term commitment. So I think really having clear wording and messaging of what you're going to be paying up front, what the cost is it monthly, is it quarterly? So they really have a very clear picture of what they're signing up for. So we've really been working with our brands, just working on their user flow and what their websites look like to make sure that their customers feel comfortable shopping their sites. But I really think, like you guys have all said, giving that genuine customer experience, showing your customers that you care and that you have their best interest at heart, is going to make any brand stand out against everybody else that's out there.
Yeah, we haven't really seen any really, product has been shipping, backlogs or nothing, back orders. We've, clients, we haven't seen much of that. And figuring that up with our client calls all the time, we always ask them that is, okay, do you have product? If you don't have product, please tell us so we can slow down our traffic a little bit, because the worst thing you can do is, go out there and blow it up and blow your sales up, and then you can't ship product to the client. So we discuss that with our team all the time, communicating that.
And then the one other thing that I mentioned earlier is the personalization and customization piece. I think is really important to people right now when they're out there shopping, being able to kind of pick out and have control of, what they're getting, or being able to sample different products, I think is important to our clients right now. We've seen with our subscriptions that are customizable, that they have been doing really well. So I think that's also important to the consumer at this time.
Yeah, and like Father's Day, Mother's Day, the key, holidays was very successful. I think a lot of people purchase a lot of products, especially our flower focused bouquet companies subscription. Really was successful. Mother's Day, I think that was one of our clients, was the biggest day of in their career, of the company. So it was,
When I think we have so many new eyes in the e-commerce space, like people that have never really shopped online, so they're just being opened up to this whole world of what they can actually do online. And I think we really saw that during Mother's Day and the holidays, because they had to find a new way to gift and give. And I really think that once people have seen how easy that is, and if it's a great experience for them, that they'll continue down the line to do some e-commerce, gifting or things like that they haven't done in the past.
Jessica, that's so true.
Now it's just the opportunity to capture those people and teach them about what we have to offer online, so they can start these new ways of shopping, and giving them that, they won't always go back into retail stores.
I think there was a stat out there: 68% of consumers during the pandemic visited 2 to 3 new e-commerce stores during the pandemic, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh.
So it's pretty common. I've been discovering new brands left and right, and I'm like,
oh, that's cool. Online a lot, and I have been to a ton of things.
Hey, Richard. One tip that I thought I could give out right now. I just thought about this because when you're thinking about retention, you're thinking about churn. There's 2 types of churn, right? You've got involuntary and voluntary. On the involuntary side, it's credit card failure. For those listening, one thing that you should absolutely do is implement a PayPal payment method and an Amazon Pay method. The likelihood of those having a failed credit card processing is much less. I don't know the exact percentage, but I think it's at least 50% less. The consumer is more likely to have their PayPal account and their Amazon Pay account updated with the most current credit card. So you see less failed payments with those type of payment methods. And just something that, like, if you're in the e-commerce space, like, just implement that. It's easy plug in, and you're going to reduce your involuntary churn.
That's a great tip, actually. Do you guys ever employ any like those for payment processing partners, such as like Klarna or Afterpay or anything along those lines in your e-commerce businesses?
Or
I don't think
like Winback?
No. So you check out, then you can like break out your purchase into 4 equal payments.
Yeah, we haven't implemented that yet. We're so focused right now on subscription, and the interaction between a payment plan and subscription is a little murky, although it's something we have to learn. It's something we have to figure out for sure. But I do think, especially with e-commerce brands that have higher AOV and it's maybe more of a one-time model, I think it's incredibly good option. And I know it's been really successful for friends of the brand, friends of mine in e-commerce, and even so much so that like people will do brand discovery on Afterpay like website. So a lot of people are seeing, in terms of like UTMs, like sourcing new customers from people who are looking for specifically like payment plan brands. So I thought that was actually really interesting.
Yeah, that whole model is very interesting. I just saw a presentation by their CRO. I forgot it was Afterpay. I think it was Afterpay. They're talking about like how millennials are anti-credit cards and usually just spend with a debit card, which was interesting. So before we get into Q&A, I'd like to, since Chris started us off here, if you guys want to leave the audience off with one tip that you could give. So Jason, Jessica, Caitlin, please feel free to throw out a tip that you'd love to share with the audience here. Anyone can start.
Yeah. I think the tip that I always like to go back to, and we have spoken about it here, is really, getting in the head of what can you offer your subscriber customer that Amazon can't. And for us, what we've seen, really work and really make our customers feel special is launching our new products to them first. It's just such a simple way, and I like to share this as a tip because even small brands can afford it because it costs nothing. If you're going to launch a new product, you might as well tap into those VIPs, those subscribers, and really give them an experience that's special. So that's a free way of making them feel great because, of course, we'd want to send them handwritten notes or gifts or discounting, but those things, of course, have other business effects. So that would be my tip.
Love the cost-effective tip. How about our friends at Smarter Chaos?
Our tips are, it's helping our clients, get through this rough time, helping them, guide them through, what they need to do, is a tip for us is, if it's, doing media buys or doing special, placements or, it's just assisting with creative, making sure the creative has great call to actions and, for the customer to buy. That's, it's the support side for our clients to get through. Jess,
it's our clients on a case-to-case basis, but across the board, staying in e-com, investing marketing dollars. We're a full service digital marketing agency. We focus on customer acquisition. So we're seeing success in that. But basically staying out there, your user flows and the way your websites are set up.
Retargeting, anything, retargeting's huge right now. Retargeting the customer, not on Facebook, but on the affiliate side on your landing page.
There's still ways to market out there with a little bit lower risk.
Yeah. So
affiliate marketing is a perfect place.
Thanks for the plug. That's where Refersion comes in.
Yeah.
So for all of our friends watching out there, if you haven't already started using a affiliate influencer management tracking platform like Refersion, our friends here, our sales team, can definitely help you out that, get you in the right direction. And Caitlin, are you a customer of ours?
We are.
Yes. Anyways, so we opened it up to discussions. My question is being a startup on another product. Top 12 points. We have some questions coming in right now, actually, so just letting those load up. Okay, so I'll let those load in. Well, while those are coming in, I guess I have one just kind of a fun question. During being locked in your homes, what was your, I guess you could say, your lockdown superpower and kryptonite?
I would say mine was becoming a barber.
Oh, that's right. You got really good at
really
Nice. Yeah, sure.
good at fades. I've become a pretty good barber, and I think I can save myself $30 a month now with my my skill.
Plus tip. Don't forget the tip. And the gas.
But I would say that's my achievement. And focusing on, I think, working from home is you gotta juggle what you do every day and, set your schedule up and, get ready like you do every day. When you get up, you get in the shower, you get dressed, and you start your day. You eat lunch. So that's the big, I get out of it.
Well, we have a question still coming in, actually. So superpower and kryptonite during the pandemic.
One of my biggest challenges was that, I mean, Richard, you know, you live in New York, like so many of my meals were out of home, so restaurants, takeout, etc. So this time has been challenging for myself and my husband to become, you know, more skilled home chefs. And we've definitely relied on actually some incredible like D2C companies that have come up. There's one called Omsum, which is an Asian fusion type of, they send you like a little sauce and a recipe. So we've been kind of experimenting with different things like that. And we are well fed. So I guess it's successful.
Well, you're here and everyone looks healthy, so I think it's a good sign. Well, I think the questions have come in, so we'll start with this first one, and these are all open-end questions, so anyone can jump in. They're kind of like rapid fire. But one person asks, in driving customer towards subscription purchases, do you use any kind of refer a friend? And if so, what? So I think they're pretty much asking, in your affiliate programs, are you using the refer a friend component? And if so, how do you actually enable that refer a friend component? Whether that's from a technology perspective or maybe strategy.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we, you know, our subscribers, our members are our most loyal tribe. So if I'm thinking about refer a friend, you know, we try to tap that community to be, you know, advocates of our brand with their friends and family. It's something we're actually actively working on now is, you know, how can we do it in an authentic way? But from a risk reward perspective, you know, if you can tap into those high NPS or, you know, your subscribers or whoever your VIPs are to be advocates for your brand, it's a very cost effective way to acquire new customers. So that's, you know, that's a connection that we've made that we're definitely working on.
Cool.
Absolutely. In the affiliate space over here, you know, we see some refer a friend. Primarily, that's kind of hosted outside of the affiliate program. However, we have created small groups where we would invite certain consumers to join with a link, which has been successful. You're not going to see massive conversions, but it's that word of mouth and the connection, and they're trusting the person that is telling them because they are these smaller communities. So it is extremely beneficial. On our side, we don't really manage those programs, but we have seen them be successful.
Cool.
Richard, I was gonna say, I think the best way to do something like that is like you've seen the typical like for a friend, save $10, they get 10, you get 10, but like I kind of don't like doing it that way. My recommendation is like, so a customer has been a subscriber for 8 months, 9 months, they've got a high NPS score. Send them an email and say, hey, here's 2 boxes to gift to anybody you'd like. Get that friend to actually get the physical item, feel that experience. And now the subscriber feels good because they just gave out a couple items, right? Another way to do it too is if you've got like an impact level, which I love those type of brands, which is like the, you know, for every box that sells, we you know, maybe we give away, you know, 10 yoga classes for kids in need, or, okay, let's just say for every box that sells, we feed tigers in Africa, for example. Let's just say we're feeding them, right? And so it'd be like if you refer a friend, we're going to feed another 5 tigers or whatever the case may be. Making the consumer feel that impact level, I think, can go a really long way. And I think that those type of campaigns work really well.
That's awesome. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, and I would
you align or feed a line.
I would also add that if you're, you know, we've tested that actually as a benefit of being a subscriber. So in terms of those perk levels, those reward levels, you know, after your 5th shipment, send the box to a friend. You know, that's another kind of Amazon Amazon measure.
We also do a lot of co-branding with a lot of our other boxes. So putting promo, like a postcard in the box with like a watch company into a fashion box, or we do a lot of that. And there's a code on it that they put in, and then that we track it that way. But that's the way we do a lot of the co-branding with a lot of our subscriptions.
And I would think you just communicate that, because it is a benefit.
Yeah.
If you're trying to differentiate your subscription box or your subscription program, from other subscription programs, make sure you're communicating those perks.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, from the Refersion side, if you are not a customer already, we have what's called the post-purchase channel. So when you complete a purchase, it may not fit with Chris's recommendation, which is a great recommendation. But for those of you who are looking for a solution like that, we offer that where someone can opt into that, where they are now created as an affiliate. However, the work doesn't stop there. Just like any other engagement program, you have to put effort, put them into a custom email drip program that actually delivers value to them. So you have to engage those folks. It's not just a one and done deal. So don't expect to acquire a list or build a list and then they're going to now make you magical dollars because now they're a part of this program. So that's something to keep in mind. Another great point that was brought up was from Jason's side, and I think this also applies to you, Chris, as well, is creating awareness about that program. And I think the unboxing experience is a great opportunity to do that. Pura Vida does an excellent job doing that for their ambassador program, specifically in the unboxing experience. And they have other channels to acquire ambassadors, but that is a great touch point I feel a lot of brands miss out on. And I think that's a good point there. Yeah. So we have another question that came in. Is prepaying for a product for future delivery still work? Next question that adds on to this, do you guarantee delivery times to customers right now? So it might be a two-part question there.
So we haven't done prepaid at this point. It's something that we're thinking about, especially as the holidays roll around. Like, can you gift like 3 shipments, and then it's more of a fun experience for that gift as opposed to just one big box of product. So that's something we're looking into, but I'd be interested to hear what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, we see some of the prepaid products work. I really think it's kind of product by product, would go depending on what your product is. But we have seen success as well with some of our kind of like a FabFitFun that might do a heavier discount on that pre-purchase. That's where we've seen success, and people are doing that. But I think there is a way to make it work, and I think it really depends on what your individual brand is and what that looks like. The majority, though, of our clients are going to be on a month-to-month or a quarterly membership that they're billed at that time.
I mean, look, getting prepaid is going to work. It also drives higher revenue per purchase, and you're also potentially going to get a higher LTV. So if you have an average lifetime value of 7 renewals and you can get somebody to buy a 1-year annual at one time, you're increasing that average lifetime value. So, I mean, you should absolutely be offering it, but like Jessica was saying, the majority, probably 70% of your subscribers are going to be on this month-to-month sort of basis or quarterly to quarterly. But having it as an option is great because, one, it does help with cash flow. And for many of the subscription brands, you're buying inventory 2-3 months ahead of time that you're not sending out for maybe 3, 4, 5 months. And that can help with that cash flow. So I think it's something that any subscription brand should be offering. On the delivery side of the question, yeah, during this COVID-19, there was absolutely delays in delivery. I think that, I don't know that anybody was guaranteeing it on the subscription side. The one thing to think about is the most important, the delivery was most important on the first purchase for that subscriber. It's the first time they signed up. So like my recommendation is those customers should be sent priority mail or 2-day because they're eager. They just made the purchase. They want to see the first one. The renewals is not as important. The subscriber is going to build this habit knowing that it's coming around the 15th or it's coming around the 20th, depending on when the renewal is. And so I don't think the shipping affected those customers, but it was the first customer. So my recommendation is your first sign up, that consumer gets that product as fast as you can get it to them.
Jessica, I think you're about to say something.
Oh, it's okay. Now listening to Chris. So.
Cool. Okay, I think we're about to hit time here in just a second. So, I mean, is there anything else you guys want to add before we button everything up and send our audience on for the rest of their week?
Just
think-
thank you, Richard. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Richard. And for those listening that went through some tough times, like, look, it's not about weathering the storm; it's about learning to dance in the rain. So, just make those adjustments. Everybody can push through this, and I'm happy to help. Anybody listening has any questions, you can email me, Chris@Subta. I'm happy to answer those emails, jump on a phone call. If I can help you with your business and give you some advice, I'm here. And thank you again, Richard, for having me.
Yeah. Same here over at Smarter Chaos. We're here to assist you guys. Any company out there that needs help, you can contact us at Jason@Smarter Chaos. And if you got any questions on building an affiliate program or a social program or influencer program, we're here for you.
And I'll just might as well lob it in. I'm at Caitlin@foursigmatic.com if you are interested in functional mushrooms and want to talk wellness. If you want to nerd out on retention, I'm here for you guys. And I hope that you've enjoyed the panel as much as I have.
Awesome. So I want to thank our panelists, Jason, Jessica, Caitlin, Chris, such great subject matter experts around this really interesting world of subscription that's ever evolving, especially as our world is constantly evolving, not only from a health perspective, but also from a social perspective. So I want to thank everyone for joining us today. It's been a great session. We're just about hit time, which is great. It's our best one yet. And before you go, don't forget to hit that subscription button right here in the lower right to get updates on all of our future events, and that notification bell to, of course, be notified. This recording will be available immediately following after the stream is completed, and we'll be sending out a follow-up email tomorrow with the recording and potentially emails from the panel, so you can reach out to them directly. All right, everyone, have a great week, have a safe week, and happy reopening for those that are starting to start their phases. All right, everyone, have a good one. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.